that, I think we're just rubbing Band-Aid on the issues.
Now, you see, I want to dwell a bit more on the role of the youth in nation building. Historically, those who emerged as leaders were young people at some point, some of them even getting elected to the House of Representatives or even the Senate at 23, 25 and all that. And we even had a head of state who yes, who got married in office, and he was in his early 30s. Today, the people in that age grouping seem to be so disillusioned that what we keep hearing most of the time is about them, some of them, not all of them, but the ones that are very popular are those who engage in internet fraud, popularly or called Yahoo Yahoo and all that, or who just want to get rich quickly. Do you think if the National Youth Service program were overhauled, there could be something in it for the youth to assist them in looking forward to a very good future of service?
The question you hit on, the way I would tackle it is I look at things differently. One key thing is I try to look at things, it's easy to look at things from a first and second person perspective. But to push it a notch, also try to look at it from the third and the fourth person perspectives, where you don't see the people that would benefit from your actions. To me, I see the fraudster as a very intelligent person that is misdirected. It's not easy to scam people out of their money. Now imagine that same fraudster in a lab somewhere working on some research. It's misdirection.
Yeah.
The youth of this country, which I believe I'm still a part of, is lack of direction that bothers us. Now, I can blame us for not taking charge. I'm not saying we're lack of blame, but it translates from the fact that we've sold our souls to cash. In Igbo, there's a proverb, it might lose meaning in translation, which says, if you tell a kid what it takes to be successful, he would rather be poor.
Say it first in Igbo.
Okay, what it just means, if you tell a poor person what it takes to be successful, he would rather be poor. The problem with that is people look at success as money. That's a literal translation. But it's a proverb, which means it's not supposed to be a literal translation. Now, if you flip it, that word success could be anything. It could be being a great father. It could be being a mentor, being a teacher that graduates all your students of your class and make sure that they advance. It could be anything. It could be a businessman that takes care of people. It could be an orphanage that gets kids placed. That's success. But what is success to the average person today? How much money is in your bank account? I'm not taking away the merits of economics, but the point is that we have translated success as cash. And if you translate it as cash and I don't have a job, I'm going to do whatever means necessary to get cash because that's what we've translated success to be. And at the end of the day, it boils down to direction, misdirection, I would say, lack of leadership. Growing up, the adage used to be, walk before you run. Technology makes it, you don't necessarily need to walk, you can run. Communication has been hastened, but are we really following? I don't think we are. Look at internet penetration in the country. I wouldn't say it's where it is currently. I believe investment in technology, absolutely. I don't think we are where we are technologically to be able to do anything else. But technology should play a role, and that's where the youths are involved. Mass communication is easy now. You can literally reach masses with a tweet. It matters. But also, it comes with its own problems. Fake news.
Fake news.
Fake news destroys more than bullets because it poisons minds.
Yeah.
So as much as I'm very pro-technology, I believe in technology that is checked also. That's where I am. Everything that has a positive also has a negative. We have to be in the in-between.
Still talking technology, you know, I know that, for instance, in our space,
yes,
the media space, a lot has happened. You have more people now who watch stuff online than like 10 years ago,
Yes.
or like even than 3 years ago. But you find that most people still need to subscribe to pay before they can use certain apps and all that. Is it just because it's here in Nigeria and the cost of data and all that?
I wouldn't really say it's because it's Nigeria. I think it's an economic model. If I build a platform, it's all purely economics. I wouldn't fault someone if they make something free or if they make something to pay. I think if you make yours to pay, it creates me an opportunity to have one that is for free. So for me, I don't think that is our problem. I just don't think that our governments, I'm not specific to any
Level.
I'm not saying general. I actually prefer to call him general. I don't think his government is at fault in terms of technology penetration or anything like that. What I just think, we don't have a roadmap to be inclusive. What is our rural technology plan? You go to some places, there's no cell reception. But other countries now are making sure that everybody's online to be able to be reached for whatever reason it is. Where we're going with technology, honestly, I don't even think that's the first step. I think we just don't have a roadmap. And personally, I religiously believe for us to get anything right, we have to go back to the drawing board to define this entity called Nigeria, because it's not working.
We'll continue with that definition very soon. We'll take a break now.
Thank you.
So welcome back to the program. Alfred is still my guest. Yes, Alfred. You said something about a roadmap. What kind of roadmap do you want to develop?
For me, my objective is I would like to create a roadmap where an opportunity that will help us define this entity. For me, having met a lot of people in this country, having been to a lot of places in this country, and I've taken pride of going to about 34 states in this country by road.
By road?
Yes. And the beauty about that is you see how beautiful this country can be. My love for this country has no relationship with being north or south. I just look at it from a potential perspective. And it's sad when you see talent being wasted. I feel privileged on my own to have been able to be sent to the kind of school that I was sent to by my parents, to have the privilege to go to a different country. But how do we implement that back home?
But that's your trip
Yes.
to 34 states
Yes.
by road. Give me like 2 takeaways.
This country is beautiful.
This country is what?
It's beautiful.
That's one.
Yes. The potential of the potential is massive. But it also shows me that what unites us is way bigger than what divides us.
That's deep.
Our similarities are way more than our divisions. Our divisions are probably language, religion.
Yeah.
How does that stop us from integrating? But the unification possibilities that we have in this country are huge,
Yeah.
humongous.
In about, say, 50 years, if that were possible, how would you forecast Nigeria would be?
First of all, now I want to go back to walking before we run.
Ah, okay.
Okay? Because just like Wi-Fi technology, somewhere at the back, there is a cable. I don't think we can progress the way the system is set up. I do not believe so. Because if you look at a typical Nigerian, you see eyes filled with hopelessness. And that is a problem. If you bring a typical Nigerian that's probably not from what we'd call the middle class or the upper class and whatnot, what is their hope? what are they looking forward to? When you identify the word Nigeria to them, what does it mean? To me, it's hopelessness, and that is the drive.
But how
So
do we address this?
we have to sell hope back.
Sell hope back?
Yes.
How?
By redefining Nigeria. I'm not saying it's up. Number one is, if it was easy, it would be a cakewalk. It would be a child's play. I'm not saying that what we desire to get, that what we desire to want to do is, it's not supposed to be easy. But I see a Nigeria where if a Yoruba boy is good in solar technology, we should ship him out to the northwest. No, northeast. If an Igbo boy is good in agriculture, we send him out to the northwest. If an outside kid happens to be one of the best petrochemical engineers that graduated, he has no business in the north. He should be in the south-south. Vice versa. There are so many. The beauty of this country is its diversity. Southwest doesn't have everything. Southeast doesn't have everything. The north doesn't have everything. So we have to break down those barriers to make everyone feel at home, that this is home, so that we're in the southwest, so that a Yoruba kid could wake up and go to Kaduna and meet their residency laws and be a Yoruba person from Kaduna. His interest is now in Kaduna. I don't see how that affects his tribe. But for us to progress, for him to be able to do that, which is what I believe will progress us. Now, this is not something that you say, this is a magic one, let's do this and Nigeria will be better. No, do I expect resistance? Absolutely. But I just hope that my generation will realize that our parents failed us.
That's unfair.
That's our reality. But more challenging that we don't fail our kids.
I want to challenge you.
Please go ahead.
Your generation cannot say that your parents' generation failed you,
They're the leaders.
but they gave you education. They sent
What
you
kind
to
of
school.
education?
They exposed you.
I've met mass comm students that have never touched the camera. I've met computer engineers that have never had a laptop. I have met pharmacists that I haven't met pharmacists, but I'm mostly in my technological space. But I have met graduates that only studied what the school offered them.
They didn't have a practical side to it.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I have met someone that one of my sisters desired to be a pharmacist, but she never got a school that offered her that. Actually, now it's automatic for me that if you tell me you studied something of biological sciences, I believe you wanted to be a doctor. That you just couldn't get medicine. That education is flawed. The education we have here is a certificate. It's not practical.
So that's not just about the parents, because some of your group are already in the educational system.
Well,
So maybe that takes us back to your leadership failure mantra.
science teaches us. I read a book by Marcus Aurelius that said, every complex problem, simplify it. When I study Nigeria from my own lens, from my capabilities, which I want to believe is different from a whole lot of people, if I were to simplify it, it narrows down to leadership. What is the job of a leader? To give direction. Why is this road bad? The road being bad is not the problem, it's why is it actually bad? If we narrow it down, whose job is it to do? If you narrow it all the way down, you could do with budgeting, you could do with enforcement, you could do with a whole lot of things. But for me, the leadership vacuum happens to be our whole problem. And I pray and hope that my generation would understand that the only way out of this is to play inclusive politics. But not just playing inclusive politics, the objective should be first, let's redefine this entity called Nigeria in our own terms, where we will all believe that it's home.
Okay, so inclusive politics. Let's talk politics a bit.
Please.
But I will relate it to something about development. Growing up, I know that sports was used as a tool
Yes.
to harness the boundless energies of youngsters. And there was something you could predict. Oh, this guy, send him to go and learn swimming. This one, train him in track and field and all that. And then, of course, for football. How is our sports field like now, as a young person?
We're a sports-loving nation, football-loving nation.
What does that mean?
I want to believe that we are all into the European Premier League,
Yes,
English Premier League. Whenever they're playing, we know everything. What is ours? What teams do we have? What is you hear about our female soccer stars come back and they're not paid. You hear about our athletes go to perform to come back and they're not being paid. What is the motivation to represent this country? That is on the professional side. What is the growth plan? We don't have stadiums. When I was in primary school between 1991 and 1996, there's always inter-house sports. Every year there is an inter-house sports. You look forward to it. We compete with each other. How relevant is that now in harnessing the capabilities of the youth? We're soccer-loving nations. How many mini soccer pitches would you say you have? I'm sure you travel, you go to the UK, which is also a soccer-loving nation. You drive within neighborhoods. How many soccer pitches would you see? It doesn't have to be massive, but you see people practicing. Growing up in the States, we're more basketball and American football. You see basketball rims in virtually every county. You don't need anybody else to just go and practice. I believe sports on its own, even the income it will generate for this government, for the system, but let's not even focus on the income. Let's focus on the human capacity development. But we're not doing anything about it. What are the ministries doing to say, let's find the future stars of tomorrow and harness them? You look at, unfortunately, because of COVID, nobody is really looking at Olympics 2021. But I remember in 1996 in the Olympics, you can identify more than 20 Nigerian names born in Nigeria, not born abroad, born in Nigeria, that naturalized on different countries, just so that they will have the opportunity to participate. Why should that be the case? We are pushing away doctors. We are pushing away lawyers. We're pushing away professors. And in the same space, other people are coming in. Who are those people? Do they see this place more as a home than we do? I don't know. I don't have the answer. But I genuinely believe that running away isn't the solution. But I can share their pain. I can share the pain of a 21-year-old or a 22-year-old that's probably the oldest in their family with no job, with a supposed degree and no job. What is he or she supposed to do? The parent might be retired without a pension. Is someone being penalized? You see a government official or a pension commissioner or whatever loot the pension. I'm particular about the pension because that is the livelihood of families. What happens to him or her? What is this down effect of those? What is the downstream effect of ruining the pension system?
That's the kind of thing that will lead me to ask you about the impact of discipline. That's personal and corporate discipline. In our society, everything seems to have fallen apart.
You can relate it to, I honestly can't even say it's one thing. I genuinely believe we have sold our souls to the concept of cash. Cash is king. Whatever you have to do to make money. I have zero problem with economics. I have zero problem with the pursuit of your happiness. I actually religiously believe that. And if I get the opportunity, what I want to sell people is more strength in your pursuit of happiness, whatever your happiness might be. I can't make you to do good things, but I can punish you for doing bad. The limits to where we have decayed as a nation, I can't put a hand to where it is. But I can say it started from the erosion of the local governments.
Okay, but then what about the home? What about the home? Discipline starts in the home.
Yes, discipline starts in the home. And let's say, for example, a mother is supposed to discipline a child. Fair enough. Is the mother at home? Where is she? What if she's working? What system do we have? I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all. I do genuinely believe that, yes, family plays a huge part in a child's upbringing. But for me to judge a parent, I have to know where you're coming from.
In trying to know where they're coming from,
Yes.
you must also try to understand, what the basic thresholds are for us as a society. What's acceptable in our society today?
Everything goes.
Then we're not going anywhere.
That's the decay we have. Let's use driving, for example.
Yes.
How do drivers here behave?
What's the punishment?
There's no price to pay. But the same person, would they do that in front of the cantonment gate? The same driver that would come here, double park, block the road, no care about the backup of traffic or whatever, run a red light, would they do the same in front of the cantonment gate where the military are? Price and punishment.
Well, so then it's
There's no price to pay for anything goes in
no,
Nigeria today.
I believe that even the individual should be able to say, this is beneath me, I'm not going to do it.
But then you're taking away the concept of being human. As human beings, we will do whatever we'll get away with. If not, there wouldn't be laws. The law is there to enforce what we desire as a society.
So now, imagine a young person, a person, let's not say is young or old, a person who wants to be involved in politics but who has no personal scruples and all that. What kind of politician is that going to be?
That's a tough one.
Yes, it is.
Because it's intrinsic. My motivation didn't come from anybody. My motivation came when I realized that I mustn't be the king. I mustn't be the number one. Because speaking with my colleagues, speaking with a bunch of friends, speaking with people I believe that are opportuned, the bigger problem that we have, I don't know if it's a black problem, but the biggest problem we have, nobody wants to be willing to pay the ultimate price. Nobody wants to do anything they will not enjoy the benefits of it. Nobody wants to start anything that they will not live to enjoy, which is a big problem because life has a weird sense of humor.
Yeah.
I could start something, and Martin Luther King, did he see the civil rights he fought for?
No, he didn't.
It actually got propelled after his death. So do you think his wife was happy about that? I bet you not. She wants her husband, probably. I don't know her, but I want to assume that she wants her husband. For me, like I said, the itch that is itching me is a selfish interest. Very selfish. It just happens to be that this is home. I'm not doing it because I love anybody else. I'm not doing it because I love the people. I'm doing it because I want my home to be better.
You want your home to be better. You want your people to
And
be better.
if you're an occupant of my home, your benefit.
Okay, so now let's localize it. You're from Imo. You schooled in Enugu, more or less grew up in Enugu. But what you would like to do, your circumstances will prevent you from being able to do it in Enugu. That's the truth?
Like I said, it's, for me, let me just say something. I hope it doesn't take us away.
Yeah, we're
I think
still
a
there.
few years back, Abia State was created from Imo. But the Abia State governor told the Imo State teachers or something to go home. I had a problem with that. These are people that have lived there all their lives. But that's the issue that we're talking about. Enugu State and Anambra, this indigenization concept of somebody telling you you are not from here. How can you tell someone that have lived in a place all their lives that they're not from there? There are Igbo people in Lagos that are more Igbo There's some Yoruba people that probably have never lived in Lagos. My wife was born and brought up in Lagos. She speaks more Yoruba than Igbo. You would actually think she's more Yoruba until you probably hear her name and last name and whatnot. To me, my Nigeria, and I'm internalizing it because it might not be someone else's, and I believe there should be diversity of opinions. There should be diversity of minds. We should not all agree. In my Nigeria, she's a Lagosian.
Yeah, she is.
Lagos is a little different.
No, but she's a Lagosian.
Okay.
She is a Lagosian.
And yeah, an Igbo person from Lagos.
Yes.
That's my Nigeria.
That's who
the
she
way I
is.
want to say it. Well, I'm not sure that's how it is applicable in the whole country, though.
Well, you said Lagos. That's how it is in Lagos.
No,
I
no,
can
no,
say
Lagos
that.
is one
and
out
you have
of 30.
experienced it.
Yes.
So, but what I'm saying is that if it happened that in Imo, not Imo, in Enugu, where you grew up,
Yes.
right? You can't come out to run
Yes.
for, say, Senate.
The local sentiment.
Yes. They say,
Is
no,
that
he's
you're
not
not-
one of us.
No.
How do we prevent that? That's people saying that.
And that's when
That's
words,
not government now. That's people.
Yes, sir. That's when words matter. That's when psychological matter. That's when orientation matters. Because when you look at a document, it says states of origin. You didn't ask me where I reside. That state of origin could be lack of our documentation processes because they're trying to verify a whole lot of things, but it has a gravid effect. Because if all we know is a state of residence, then you should never bring up Imo. You can ask me
Or
place
even
of
state
birth.
of birth.
Yes.
Yes.
If we focus on that, that's the thing about time. It might not be my generation. But my grandchildren, when they grow up, they'll look at their friends and, where were you born? Then we can have that mindset that it doesn't matter where somebody's from. The America we look up to, George Bush is from Texas. His younger brother is from Florida. Obama was born in Hawaii. He was the senator from Chicago. I forgot where Hillary Clinton was born, but she's the senator from New York.
Yes.
It doesn't matter because these states define their residency laws. And the moment you meet those residency laws, you're a resident. That's where you're from. That you were born in America, you're an American citizen, not a state resident. You have to actually reside in the states and meet their residency laws to be a resident of that state. I moved from Boston to Georgia. I'm no longer a Boston resident. I have zero business with Boston anymore. Now I'm a resident of Georgia. Whatever I want to do, if I want to run U.S. local politics, I can only run it in Georgia now. Even though I've lived there less than a year, because I met their residency laws. So it's the downtrodden, it's a psychological effect of words. It matters. If you keep asking me state of origin, the word origin means something. You didn't ask me place of birth. You didn't even ask me if I've gone there. What does it matter? Ask me where I'm born. Ask me where I reside. If you don't have my father's documentation, how is that my problem? But I genuinely believe that word, state of origin and state of, I believe that word, state of origin, should be scrapped.
Okay.
It has a
The
negative
concept
effect.
of state of origin should be scrapped.
I genuinely believe that.
Okay, well, before it is scrapped, I know that your state of origin is Imo.
Yes.
It's Imo.
Yes.
Now, so your parents are from Imo, so you have some very deep affinities with Imo.
Absolutely.
All right, so looking at Imo State today,
Yes.
what role do you think not what role, Imo State today,
Yes.
what are its potentials?
I have taught the states, even for economic possibilities, when I was running my company here. Just like every other state in the country, in this country, which I believe is blessed, it's blessed with youth. And no nation can run without youth. It's just direction of energy. Where are you directing that energy towards?
So there's youth.
Youth is the power, is the will. The Chinese population and all that, if they get into their 60s now, that becomes a liability. It's that youth from, I would say, for lack of a better word, 16 through maybe 45 or something, that productive youth. The state is blessed with youth. Abundance, natural resources and whatnot. They're just not being harnessed. Now, I don't want to say is this administration or that administration. As a collective, we don't have the kind of leadership we desire or we deserve.
That's generally and then particularly in Imo State. Now, what do you think the youth can do in this particular case of Imo State?
Well, if I isolate it, I think it's going to be rollout and everything because it's the same. But if we trace back a little bit to the End SARS movement, what I got out of that movement is the power of organization. Now, I'm not talking about the end results or what started it, but the power when people come together. What I believe was wrong with it was the direction of the movement. Okay, how, strategy, bullet points, a figurehead. You can't run anything without a figurehead. But let it be a sample, a test sample of how things come up. What I love about what happened is the potential. When people come together, what can happen? And whatever can happen to Imo State can happen to Enugu, can happen to Ogun, Ondo, everywhere. Nigeria is blessed with youth. I'm not 100 on the numbers, but I think about 40 to 60% of the Nigerian population are youths. If we grade it from the 18 to 45 or something, are youths.
Yeah.
Productive youths.
Yeah.
Are we taking advantage of what is our unemployment population? It's skyrocketing now. So for me, I want to say it's unfortunate because you can't say I want to build road when someone is hungry. You can't say I want to do this, build hospital, when someone is not even eating. I think we have a microeconomic problem. And that we have leaderships that don't understand the importance of small-term wins.
Okay. So what kind of small-term wins would you suggest in the case of Imo?
A hypothetical.
Yes, hypothetical, yes.
A hypothetical, if I were to run Imo State, number one would be, how do I put food on the table of citizens? It could be a welfare. It could be, give me your documentation. We have NIN now, we have BVNs now, where I find out the people that are not, the population that are not working, maybe the first week, 2 weeks, mini handout just to be able to be sure that people have something to eat. You create a skill acquisition program whereby after 3 months for this to continue, you must go somewhere to get a skill. When you come out of that, I have to also be prepared to be able to offer you something. It could be a credit to start whatever it is you're good at.
Yeah.
But it is very hard to talk to a hungry person. And when people are hungry, you could, and I think that's why stomach infrastructure politics works. And I think that's why our politicians today take advantage of it. When people are hungry, they can do anything to eat. Short-term solution will be putting food on the table. Now, that's the end result. How we go about that. We don't have social programs. Who takes care of the disabled? If someone is genuinely disabled doesn't mean when you have, it could be psychological. It could be emotional, it could be a mental problem. You're disabled. Who takes care of those people? Are they not citizens?
Yes, they are.
What plans do we have for them? Is it when we see them roaming on the streets and then naked trying to eat out of the gutter that we think they have, we call this a mad person? No. It could be a psychological problem that probably just needs health care.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll take another break now. We'll be back. So welcome back to Timeless Conversations with Alfred Okoro as my guest. So Alfred, we're talking politics now.
Yes, sir.
Politics, young people are not participating.
No.
Why?
We have political parties not based on ideology. I'm speaking from my
Yeah, go ahead.
experience,
mean,
and
you're
I want to
qualified.
believe a lot of people share the same sentiment. What really is the difference between APC and PDP?
Title.
Half of the governors from PDP have migrated to APC. What is their ideology? I do not believe we have ideology-based politics. Now, the problem, because I haven't played in that politics, could be completely different, but it doesn't exist. You can't say that PDP is conservative and that APC is liberal. You cannot say that.
Yeah.
Even though I believe that a party should both have a liberal and conservative arms of it, depending on the geographical region, whereby one party, even let's use APC for example, the northern part of the country are more conservative than the southern part. So I would expect APC members in the north to be more conservative than APC members in the south. But people do not participate because they do not believe in the message. I was here in 2015 when Baba's election. I am not going to lie, I have never been around in a time where people were filled with hope. Maybe it turned out to just be a marketing gimmick. It's not just about me directly, but where is those promises? And for me personally, I voted for General Buhari. Yeah, maybe I think what we have is President Buhari, but what I voted for was the general that was going to instill discipline in us, that was going to bring us this military structure. I'm not sure I'm sure there are so many things that I do not know that is transpiring, but I don't think we are getting the short end of it.
Well, quite to be fair to the government, they're building some infrastructure, fixing some interstate and federal
One
roads.
credit I would give this government is on macroeconomics. I'm not an economist, so my words might be a little different, but I think I flew into Abuja and I was impressed with the airport. Apart from that, this government, the huge credit I would give to them is from 1999, this is the only government that continued the previous administration's projects, that never abandoned them. Even if they didn't come up with brand new ones on their own, there are no ghost projects. That was very common in our politics.
Oh, yes.
Whereby this governor starts this road. Oh, because it's not me that started it, I don't want to give credit to this, I'm not going to. And you see that on the social media scheme, whereby the PDP sympathizers, when a railroad is completed or something, they're like, but he didn't start it. So what? To me, personally, I give them kudos on the macro level. But I'm not sure they get a pass on the micro level, and which is food on the table of everyday Nigerians. And I believe the general that people were clamoring for was the man of the people. I'm sure, like I said, it's not a criticism, but if we are to assess, I think on the micro level, I think we got the short end of the stick, if we were to look at it from that perspective.
So let's flip back to the youth now.
Yes.
Why, how do we get them interested?
We need to resell the youth on this entity called Nigeria, because I do not genuinely feel that they believe in this project.
Well, you still fall within that category, youth. So how would you sell the entity Nigeria to your fellow compatriots?
By selling them authenticity, by selling them genuineness, and by sensitization. Because it's easy to fall apart when you don't believe people, and we don't believe our politicians. Where someone, please allow me to backtrack a little bit. During the COVID,
Yes.
there was a lockdown, and there was the riots, and people busted into a factory. The word became a social media meme, palliatives. How can we justify that? Food that was destined for the populace was being hoarded by politicians. How can I justify that? We're talking about food. Forget the money. We are talking about food.
Yes.
And people are supposed to quarantine. So let's use the people that are working in hospitals, in hotels. So that means no money.
Yes.
Let's call the transporters. That means no money. Maybe the people the bankers, maybe banks are big enough or structured enough that they could still be paying their staff. But let's talk about the undocumented, the people that feed off of the everyday income. How are they supposed to abide by that lockdown in place? I'm not arguing the lockdown because of the epidemic. There is supposed to be a lockdown. But how are they supposed to survive? So then the word on the street came that there were this food, but some politicians stocked it. How can you justify that? Yeah, maybe not everybody wants to stick their neck out, which I can understand. The role is not for everybody.
So now, let's fast track.
Okay.
Sell Nigeria.
This is home. Nowhere like home. And all it's going to take is for us to get together. All it's going to take is for us to believe in the project. And if we believe in the Nigeria project, we define our Nigeria, not my Nigeria. Maybe my is not the word, because the word I want to use is my Nigeria, internalizing it for your own personal, not someone else's, your Nigeria. What is it you desire Nigeria to be? How do you create that? We need to resell this project, this entity. I genuinely believe that what else would they believe? There is nowhere else to go. This is home. It's just that home is not habitable.
Let me ask you this final question.
Yes, sir.
Is there hope for Nigeria?
Absolutely.
Show me.
We just need to try to get the right hands. And I'm sorry, even though it's your right question, I think people don't understand what the word change means. People got caught up with the change mantra, saying, we voted for change, we didn't get it. No. Change is a continuum. That we changed and didn't get it doesn't mean that we stop. If a female goes to a hair salon and gets a bad hairdresser, does she stop making her hair?
No.
She tries another hairdresser. Why is it that when we change a politician and they're bad, we give up? We change them. One of the reasons why I loved APC winning was that concept of change. It's not about the results. But if we can get the mindset that we can change people when they underperform, in the long term, it's going to be great for us. I believe in this country. It's not about anything else, but it's not a me thing. And I understand somebody that's not getting psyched up about the project. It's fine. That creates work. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. It's not meant to be easy.
So you're saying they should believe in change?
We should believe in the word change, not who spoke it. We should believe that change means that we have to keep trying until we get it right.
And we do that every election?
Every election, we have to participate. We must participate. I do not think that the parties currently existing are ideology-based, but we can change it from the outside. You can only change it from the inside.
Thank you very much, Alfred,
Thank
for
you,
your
sir.
time.
It's a pleasure.
I've had timeless conversations with Alfred Okoro. Next time, we'll bring you another interesting talk session. Bye-bye. Hello, welcome to this edition of Timeless Conversations. And it's going to be a very interesting conversation today because I have a very dear brother, friend, and personality that we all know, Dede.
Thank you very much.
Now, Dede and I, we go back many years. Many years.
Too many years.
Now, he is somebody who shoots straight, who doesn't know how to hold back, but he gives information based on his understanding. So, Dede, again, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Now, let me ask you this question. You read theater arts, you practice, as you say, theater arts, but in a different way. You're using music as the propellant for that
The art
practice.
itself, yes.
Okay. How has life been for you as a musician and entertainer?
It's been very interesting. If you take a spectrum of it from whence I came, to me, it's been a journey worth its salt. It's been a journey worthwhile.